welcome one more time to Real Shame. It's a show where we talk about our list of movie blind spots. My name is Andy.
And I'm Adam.
And on Monday's episode, we tackled a movie that I had not seen up till then, and it's Kung Fu Panda, or was Kung Fu Panda. Oh, it still is Kung Fu Panda for that matter.
Yep.
But it was, and it is, and it always shall be. And today, Adam decided to pair that with...
The Five Deadly Venoms, or Five Venoms. It goes by multiple titles.
Doggone it. Going by multiple titles all the time.
We always get those with import movies, I feel like, where they were imported under a loosely translated title. Then later on, they're like, no, we're going to actually, for real, import the...
People are intelligent enough to understand the actual title. So we'll go ahead and we won't dumb it down.
Yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there's this Jet Li movie that I always remembered as My Father is a Hero. But I guess in the United States, it was imported under The Enforcer.
Okay.
And just like threw me for a loop. Like I
don't think I've ever seen that one.
It's really good. It's really good because it showcases two different filming styles of martial arts. So like there's like the fast cutting, like, Bourne style martial arts and stuff like that. But then there's the big long, like, where you can see all the movements and it's like really taken like you're filming it from the stands kind of stuff. It's really cool.
I see. When you say that title, My Father is a Hero, I think of the movie My Father the Hero with Gerard Depardieu.
Yes.
That. Two totally different movies.
Well, I think that's probably why they changed the title. All right. Well, there you guys go. Everything you wanted to know and more about Jet Li's The Enforcer. But we're talking about the Five Deadly Venoms. Let's get into the description of it. I also pulled this one from IMDb. The final students of a dying martial arts master is instructed to... the final student of a dying martial art master is instructed to locate the previous 5 students and defeat any evil ones among them in the Five Deadly Venoms.
Now, Yangte, I've taught you for 3 years, instructing you in my poison clan techniques.
Yes.
I must tell you that the clan is a danger to the public. We live here in seclusion, so we can talk about the poison clan. But still, for many men, just to hear of the name fills them with hate and loathing.
But why? They never harmed anyone.
I'm afraid they did. In the past, before I joined the clan. But the point is, I had pupils once.
Is that a fact? What are their names? Where are they?
I don't know their names now. When they left, they all took new names, as the whole idea was to keep their identities a close secret. So even they don't know each other's names. And while they were here, they always wore masks to avoid being known. Now, I know I'll die soon. And while you haven't learned all of their skills, there's something that I would like you to do. First, I'll tell you about their styles, the poison clan techniques, the 5 main styles.
So the Five Deadly Venoms came out in 1978. It's written by, I'm going to butcher these, I'm sorry, I'm going to say Ni Kang and Shang She, and it looks like it's directed by Shang She also. It's one of those Shaw Brothers martial arts movies. So in the late 70s, the Shaw Brothers was a studio that put out a bunch of martial arts of kung fu kind of movies. Anyone who's familiar with Wu-Tang Clan will probably know the 36 Chambers of Kung Fu and Return to the 36 Chambers. There's the 8 Diagonal Pole. There's a bunch of different kind of kung fu movies that kind of came out of the studio that are cult classics that are very, very well known and stuff like that. In fact, I have a box of it right behind me of my DVDs of the from the Shaw Brothers collections. So that's there's like Shaolin. There's a bunch of different stuff. All great movies, all fun. But I have never seen the Five Deadly Venoms. Nor you. But it's your week, so you get to kick this bad boy off. Obviously, So let's talk about where you are with Shaw Brother and Kung Fu movies in general, and what'd you think of the Five Deadly Venoms?
I think you were saying, was it earlier this episode or at the end of last episode, where we both have seen our fair share? I feel
Oh,
very deficient
that's a lot.
in a lot of this classic kung fu. I'm kind of trying to make up for it now because we've got different Blu-ray releases, the Shaw Brothers box sets
Yeah.
coming out, and a lot of Jackie Chan's movies are getting released by 88 Films label and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, so I'm trying to kind of watch those, but I feel like a lot of the classics I have not seen. I've never seen Five Deadly Venoms. I remember having a VHS copy of, I think or Enter the 36 Chambers, or the 36. It's called the 36 Chamber of Shaolin.
Yeah.
The Wu Tang album. It's called Enter the 36 Chambers or something like that. But the 36 Chamber of Shaolin, I had a VHS copy of that, so I've seen that one a few times because I would put that on. That was like the one kung fu flick that I owned. But it was hard. I mean, now we're spoiled because it's a lot easier to come by these. But I think back in the day, unless you caught these on television or your local video store happened to have them, which my local video store didn't have a lot of these films.
I had
You
to
didn't
order
get to
mine
see them.
from China,
Right, yeah.
or
So
HK Flicks at the time, or whatever it was called.
it was harder to get them back in the day. So now we're at this. We have a perfect opportunity to be able to watch this stuff. But I've heard of Five Deadly Venoms. I've known people that have seen it and told me you got to see it. It's so cool and da da da. But I didn't know the story. I just basically knew the title and I knew that it was a kind of a classic Shaw Brothers film. So I was excited to dive into it. I think, despite the fact that I only owned one kung fu movie, which was the 36 Chamber movie, I've seen at least bits and pieces of different kung fu movies that are of this age, I guess, from kind of the late 70s or 70s period or early 80s, to kind of know what to expect. And this was about on par with what I would expect from a movie like this. I mean, does it have the most incredible writing in the world? Absolutely not. You know, the most incredible script or the most incredible story? No. But you
That's
watch
not
this
why you
movie.
watch it.
Yeah, that's not why you watch this movie. You watch this movie because you want to see some,
Awesome kung fu.
awesome kung fu action. And I feel like you get that in this movie. I mean, it's hard for me to sit there with a movie like this and, tick off all these boxes, all these complaints, and say, they should have done this. Because I mean, obviously, you can find faults with this movie because it's rough around the edges. But if you're going into it and kind of knowing what to expect and kind of expecting, like you said, just awesome kung fu action, I feel like you get that. It's very cool. The guys have their different styles. And I mean, there were kind of some surprising things. I didn't know if they were going to be villains, if they were going to be heroes, if some of them were going to be heroes, and I feel like you get a good mixture of that. Some guys are pretty evil, and some guys are not so evil, and whatnot. So the only thing that I thought was kind of odd about the movie, and the only thing really that I kind of wrote down to make a point to say was, I feel like the young guy who gets tasked with finding them in the movie, he disappears for long stretches of the movie, doesn't he? I mean, or was that just me? No. I feel like he just disappears.
I don't know if I'd say
he comes in every once in a while, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna, and then finally he teams up with a guy to kind of fight some of the other guys towards the end. But I was like, is he coming back in the movie? Like I don't know. I just felt like he disappeared for a while, and I thought, is he the main character or is he not? I feel like he's not. He is, but then he isn't, because it spends a lot of time with some of the members of the Five Deadly Venoms. When they're scheming, when they're talking about they're going to kill this person or this guy's whatever, and the guy's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say long stretches, but he does definitely, like, he does disappear, like he's out of sight, or and it kind of shows up. So I do think that's pretty valid. I think you hit the money right on the head. It's hard. You can't be it's hard to be critical in these movies just because they deliver on what you're looking for, and you don't really want a whole lot out of it. It's like trying to be critical on Bloodsport. It's like, do we get to see some awesome fighting? Yes. Okay, cool. Sign us up. So I'm with you. I think some of the stuff is really inventive, and kind of seeing it seeing the gecko style where he can basically stick himself to the wall and stuff like that, and the snake style where he has the head on one side and the tail on the other side, and all that stuff. And I think so that stuff is pretty cool, and it's fun to see that stuff visualized in the movie and stuff. So I like all that stuff. You don't get a whole lot of training in it, which I said in the last episode that I like the most on kung fu movies. So I would prefer to see some more training montages and stuff like that. But you get some interesting kind of fights in this movie, especially at the end. It seems like they're kind of waiting for the end to do it. And you do get like a really cool fight montage where, you know, the last student, was it Shang Shin, is basically, you know, they're figuring out how they're gonna each attack, you know, the members of the Venom mob and stuff like that, and what's the best way they can work together to take it out. Because I guess the premise of this movie, and I said in the beginning, is that the last student, the final student, needs to team up with one or a couple of these guys to help take out the evil members of the team and stuff like that. So they have to work together, and that's an interesting premise. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that before, where it's, you know, it's you're not strong enough to do it by yourself, but by teaming up with someone else, that makes you strong enough to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that aspect of it, and I do find some of it pretty surprising. And there's like a turn or two that I was like, oh, that kind of caught me off guard. And I don't know if I want to spoil that on this, because it's a such a, I don't know how many people have seen this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need to spoil it.
So I thought it was cool. I was going to ask you, of the 5 different styles, which one was your favorite? So we had the scorpion style where the guy could kick and like move around like that, and his hands were like claws.
Yeah.
Right? I thought it was badass. Then we had the lizard style where he can basically, his upper body was really light and he can like stick to walls and stuff like that. Then we had the toad style where he's basically impervious to like metal and stuff like that. Then we had snake style, and then we had centipede style, which is like, I would think like E Honda, basically the million hands kind of tap and stuff like that.
I think snake probably.
Oh, cool.
Would be, mine. Well, I didn't like I mean, all the styles are cool. The toad guy, like you said, he's just kind of impervious to stuff, but I was like,
that was my favorite. That's my favorite one. Yeah,
I don't know.
I like that he's impervious to everything. He's just like,
they stuck him in basically the Iron Maiden, right?
Yeah, it didn't bother him.
Put him in the Iron Maiden. That's what he should have done in the movie. He should be like, yeah. Well, they don't call it that.
We did that cross. They call it like the pen jacket or something like that.
Yeah.
Pen coat or something.
Yeah, the
needle coat or something.
The needle coat, the nail coat, something. Yeah, they don't call it the Iron Maiden. But if they would have called it the Iron Maiden, he could have done like this.
But you know what? I just now thinking about
it.
That thing they put the toad guy in reminds me of Kung Fu Panda, because don't they have him in something in Tai Lung? You know.
Oh, they got it when they
when
chained
he's
up.
chained up and stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
So he can't move. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I think those are I think those are all really cool and really interesting, and like they dispatch like these Venom people are just like ruthless.
They're
like,
very ruthless.
Like there's some people that I'm like,
I liked that.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, well, they're killing this person.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that and all that kind of stuff.
No witnesses.
No witnesses.
Basically.
Exactly. So I really liked it. Because part of the movie is like, there's like a little bit of a mystery element. I don't think it's played up to be a mystery, but you don't know who each of these kind of members of the Venom mob are going to be, because they kind of take on new identities whenever they leave, the master school and stuff like that. And
and one of them in particular wears a mask pretty much the entire movie. Mm-hmm. So then when you finally find out who it is, I don't know that it's a shock. I don't think it is, but it might be a shock to you. You never know.
That's really what I want to say on Five Deadly Venoms. I'm glad you had a lot of fun. I definitely want to do some more deep dives into the Shaw Brothers movies. There's much that I have that I still haven't seen, and there's some that you need to see. So, that's my call out to you guys. If you guys are familiar, or if you guys have a favorite Shaw Brother movie, let us know in the comments or shoot us an email, and we'll more than happy kind of watch those and give our take on it and stuff like that.
Yeah, as long as, like you said, as long as it delivers on kind of you got some cool kung fu action. There's no reason to be super nitpicky about these movies. I mean, just have fun with it, like a movie like Bloodsport, as you mentioned. If you don't have fun with Bloodsport, something's wrong with you.
Yeah. Frank Dukes. The last thing is, this is listed as number 11 on Entertainment Weekly's top 50 cult films.
So not quite in the top 10.
Not quite, but close.
The top 10, yeah, very close.
Not bad for a movie I have not heard of until like last month. I mean, it's new to me. It was not new to me.
I mean, I've definitely heard of it for years, because I would have people tell me I've got to see it, but I never had an opportunity. And now I've taken the opportunity, thanks to you.
I mean, and I'll say the last thing too is it's interesting that I feel like this doesn't follow the normal trope of you would think of a kung fu movie, right? So I like that it changes that up
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So I think that's interesting. But yeah,
So no Siskel and Ebert review, no Leonard Maltin review, and it had no Rotten Tomatoes percentage, but it does have an 84%
now
audience
it's at 100%.
approval. Yeah, 84% audience approval on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what the other 16% of the people thought, or what problems they had with it, but whatever.
They wanted 6 Deadly Venoms. There's a
wanted
bunch
6?
of sequels. I didn't write those down. I should have, but there's like a Return of the Five Deadly Venoms and all that kind of stuff. So there's a whole series that kind of stems off from this.
Five
movie.
Deadly Venoms 2, Electric Boogaloo, anyone?
Yep. Five Deadly Venoms 3D.
Oh, that'd be cool. They're like kicking right at the screen.
Yeah.
Here comes the foot right in your face.
Step up to
Step up to the Five Deadly with the number 2. Step up to the Five Deadly Venoms with a Z.
Yeah, classic.
All right.
If anyone wants to make that movie, I'll give you some money.
I'd watch all that stuff.
Yeah, me too. All right, that's us. Five Deadly Venoms. So on these Wednesday episodes, we always like to end them with a viewer's question, and we chose one that's on topic with the movies we watched this week. And that question is, what are our favorite Jack Black movies? Jack Black, was in Kung Fu Panda, which was the movie we reviewed on Monday. So we decided to maybe look at or talk about some of the movies he's in that we like. I think famously Jack Black, I don't know how famously is that he's a member of the band Tenacious D with his friend Kyle Gass.
Mm-hmm.
And they had their own HBO show. Do you remember that back in the day?
No, I do not.
They had their own HBO show, Tenacious D. I don't remember what the name of the show was. I think it was just called Tenacious D. I'm pretty sure they had their own show. Now that I'm saying that. And they also have a movie that is Tenacious D, The Pick of Destiny, which if you're in the right mood for it, it is pretty fun.
Yeah, I like that.
I only wrote down one movie on my list, so I'm bad that way. You want me to talk about mine, or do you have one already lined up?
I've got one already lined up. Go ahead. But
right.
you go ahead.
So of all the movies that kind of came to mind of Jack Black's oeuvre of the movies he's done, my favorite is School Rock. I think we talked earlier on Monday how we liked musical stuff. We talked about Paul McCartney 321 and all that kind of stuff. And School Rock is just a really earnest, fun movie where Jack Black gets to do his shtick, but his heart is in the right place and he gets to help a bunch of kids learn about rock and roll and take up rock and roll music. And the soundtrack's cool. There's a bunch of really good songs they pull for it. Classic, Stevie Nicks songs and AC/DC songs and all that kind of cool 70s rock. And it's just a really fun movie that I like a lot.
I like School Rock as well. I think it's a solid film. I probably need to revisit that. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I was kind of looking through his filmography. He's done a lot of movies, and we were talking about this beforehand. He's done a lot of movies that I'm like, I don't even remember that he was in.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? He was in that?
He probably just walked by.
Well, he definitely started off kind of doing much more bit parts, before he finally became more of a household name. But, he did movies like Neverending Story 3 and stuff like The Jackal, as we mentioned, where he gets exploded.
He gives him those uranium rounds or whatever.
He gets blowed up. Yeah, he gets blowed up. But yeah, going through here, I think School of Rock would probably be in my top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I was looking. The movie Bernie. I thought that was good.
Yeah, he was really good in Bernie.
And that's based on a true, unbelievably true story. But I'm going to go with my main man Noah Baumbach and pick Margot at the Wedding. Jack Black is in. That's a good. I like pretty much all of Noah Baumbach's films. They're high up on my list, so I'm gonna go with that one. Jack Black, it's a little more of a dramatic role, but he's still Jack Black. I mean, he's still, he's never done he's never pulled a Jim Carrey and done the number 23 or whatever, some really super serious roles or anything like that. So he's definitely not super serious in Margot at the Wedding. And because it's Noah Baumbach, it's got comedy and drama kind of in equal measure. But that's gonna be my pick, with Bernie and School of Rock following.
I think those are
just behind it. Yeah.
I have not seen Margot at the Wedding, but I think those are all solid choices.
Yes.
I do like it when comedic actors do these dramatic turns.
I do too.
Like Will Ferrell did the one
Stranger Than Fiction.
Stranger Than Fiction, that was good. Jim Carrey did Man on the Moon, which troubling behind the scenes, but still pretty good, and done some other more serious stuff that I can't think of. Maybe not a great example. I'm going to.
He did the Bad Batch, but he has no lines. I don't
Yeah.
think in that, if I recall correctly.
We have Steve Martin doing the. I would say probably like Father of the Bride is a more serious role and less kind of zany and comedic as I would imagine him. No, another bad example?
I mean, I still think of that movie very much as a comedy.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
All right. Well, anyways,
But
that those examples dried up fast on my book, but
Well,
I do like.
he's not the jerk in,
Yeah, that's
in
true.
Father of the Bride. So
I that all being said, when comedic actors take on serious roles, it usually turns out to be pretty good.
yeah,
All right.
show some range.
So some range. All right, guys. Well, that is what we thought about Jack Black movies. Now it's your turn. Let us know what you think about the Five Deadly Venoms, and let us know what your favorite Jack Black movie is. Maybe it's one that we haven't seen, and we can
he's
watch
been
it
in a lot
for
of
the
stuff.
show. He's been in a lot of stuff. I've never seen Never Ending Story 3, so
Yeah,
maybe
you're not missing anything.
maybe we should watch that.
You're not missing anything.
So let us know. YouTube, leave a comment down below. If you're listening to us, shoot us an email, realshame@gmail.com. That's also where we answer these viewer questions, just like this one. So shoot us those viewer questions to us. We would appreciate that. Like, subscribe, share the show, do all that social media stuff because we really do appreciate it. I didn't say, but we are on Instagram at Real Shame. I post there, try to post there regularly. I'm not always great about it, but it happens. And stay tuned next week as we cross movies off my list of shame, because this was your week. And we'll see you soon, guys. Bye.
And R.I.P. Sonny Chiba,
Oh,
since we're talking about Kung Fu.
it's very sad.